Story with you. Please watch on.
2023, according to a report by the International Energy Agency. But Nigerians suffered more nationwide blackouts in 2023.
Of the civil society community of Nigeria.
These social justice civil organizations say the state of electricity across the country has become a matter of national emergency, with repeated collapses of the national grid and the inability to fully transmit and distribute the minimal capacity being generated.
The most painful aspect of this ugly development to the civil society community is that while the nation is languishing in darkness and epilepsy power supply, about 226 containers of power equipment and transformer owned by the TCN are at various ports in Nigeria.
Before one will not say what is the linkage between the abandoned containers and the epilepsy we are experiencing in power, I'm sure the answer is clear. Those equipment were procured in view of the fact that a few months' time, some of the existing equipment needs to be replaced. Now, they cannot be replaced because someone has just decided to be irresponsible to his responsibility. Someone has just decided to be, not to be alive to his responsibility. Now, those equipment are trapped at various ports.
Jide, tackling power is very, very important now.
Yes. When you look at, in fact, this is one area that needs President Tinubu's attention. And we cannot say that any progress has been made in the power sector since this government took over. I can't see the progress that has happened. I can see progress in some areas, but not in the power sector. And if anyone knows about progress that has happened in the power sector since President Tinubu took over, I'll be happy to be enlightened. It's just terrible what is going on. We've had so many, what is it called, grid collapses. In fact, in 2023, the grid collapsed 3 consecutive times. These were in September 14, 19, and December 11. Nigeria's national power grid collapsed 49 times between 2017 and 2024. And the country recorded 24 power system collapses in 2014 alone. In 2015, it collapsed 10 times. In 2016, it collapsed 28 times, 21 times in 2017. In 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, there were 13, 11, 4 and 4 collapses. So now what the leadership of the National Union of Electricity Employees is asking the president to do, along with this civil society coalition that we just listened to, that the president needs to declare a state of emergency. We cannot record economic growth and development under this kind.
At this rate?
Yes. This arrangement cannot bring progress. We are a country like Egypt has more than enough electricity, and it is even making plans to export to some countries of Europe, like Cyprus. We can't produce, we can't do more than 3,000 megawatts.
That
3,000 megawatts for 200 million people.
That Morocco
we cannot even transmit that 3,000.
That Morocco is the leading country in Africa that relies on solar energy. Cannot be magic.
If you go to, I think one of the hottest parts of our country is Jamari in Bauchi State.
Okay.
We have all that we need to deliver off-grid power. We have it. Solar, we can do solar in abundance.
Wind.
You know, I was discussing with someone. I said, do you know that there is one country where an airport runs 24 hours on solar. He said, Ejide is a lie. I said, in India, there is an airport. I said, use your Google. There is an airport that runs completely on solar. In India, it's the first airport in the world to run 24 hours on solar. So, look at us here.
You should have told him also about the Lagos State Secretariat.
Look at the problem of UCH now.
Okay.
As somebody who had been admitted in UCH before, and they saved my life there, and I'm ashamed that UCH has not got electricity for the doctors to perform their functions because they are owing. Yes, and the disco said, okay, pay 250 first. You are owing more than 400 million. Pay 250, we will restore. They can't pay. Nothing in the world, and I think the president, given the history, the pedigree of UCH, where even world leaders,
King of Saudi Arabia.
the King of Saudi Arabia used to come and take get Medicare. Our president has to, as a matter of emergency, direct the Rural Electrification Agency to go and construct off-grid power supply for UCH.
Because it can be done.
They did it in Luth. Luth runs 24 hours electricity. I did a documentary about Luth. The same Luth where people used to use their phones to do surgery. Today is 24 hours electricity. So we are not doing enough.
We are not.
We are not doing enough.
Mayor, what strikes you when you hear the news that electricity tariff would go up by, is it 200%?
Yes, almost 300%. I think it's
what strikes you?
I believe
only 15% of consumers.
Yes, for the people in Obara, for people like us, we are the one. Our who just died.
No, I don't think I'm part of you people.
What do you mean by Obara? You know, don't you live in Obara? What do you mean by you are not part of?
I'm not part of the people who pay that.
Okay.
Well, you are in the urban areas. But what I'm saying is that I agree that for us to have the electricity, we need to pay for it. I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
The estate where I stay,
Nigerians will pay.
The estate, no, that's what I'm saying. The estate where I stay, we pay. We don't pay normal charges. We pay special rate. Because one of the things that is disco, especially Ikeja Disco, and I think they must have done it in other places, but in Ikeja Disco, they looked at some estates, Magodo, Omole, GRA, and then they had a meeting with the executive of the estate to say, look, we want to sell to you at a higher rate so that we'll be able to dedicate more to you. You understand? Because they realize that in some areas, it's difficult for them to retrieve their money from those areas. But you are organized.
Beat them up.
Yeah, so they can just go there and give you. And they did. And we didn't mind. I remember that when we were buying, I was one of the people that argued that, look, when you look at the money we spend on diesel, this thing makes sense. So let's do it. So we don't have any problem paying what they believe is the appropriate price.
Yeah.
My problem is that when you have to look at the energy sector holistically. And that is why I am disappointed that as government is trying to do so many things, do a lot of things in every sector, we've not seen the kind of brilliance expected from those who run the energy sector. Because look, this is not when you are if you know what you are doing, you don't even need a year to be able to make the difference. Or just show that in internal affairs. Just with creativity. Wike is doing that in FCT.
Yeah.
So when you are creative enough, you'll be able to do things and make the difference in 6 months. And we are not saying we are not going to pay. Nigerians don't mind to pay, but do things. All the problems that we've had, they've not even made efforts to solve those problems.
Not one of them.
They've not solved those problems. Everybody know. It doesn't take rocket science to know that the transmission company cannot service everybody. The national grid is old and dilapidated.
Oh yeah.
They are even talking about the equipment that they refuse to clear.
And transmission is a major problem.
That is the problem that we have in Nigeria.
Oh, I was listening to the minister.
Transmission.
The minister said the discourse are the weakest link. I said, what
How can they be?
It is the transmission.
What are you saying?
That's our problem.
Minister, you are talking like this.
Every time you hear
Siemens conducted a stress test of the 3 legs of our energy sector, and they came up. Yes, they came up with a report that showed that the transmission leg is the weakest. A lot of the equipment are old. Some of them are like 40-year-old equipment that need to freshen them up. So now the minister will come and say the discos are the weakest.
Then they also have to decentralize the transmission.
Oh yeah.
Using only one grid for the whole country does not make sense.
In a 21st
and that is the only segment that they did not privatize.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So Mr. President can do something. That's what we're saying.
He can do a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm appealing to him, given what I've seen happening in UCH, that he should send the Rural Electrification Agency to go and construct an off-grid power solution for UCH. For the sake of UCH's history.
I agree.
Give it to them, they will have 24 hours electricity. It happened in Lut. They gave Lut. In fact, thanks to COVID, COVID was what, during the time of COVID, they built some off-grid power for some
institutions.
Yes, for some health institutions in our country.
Yeah.
So that because some of them had what do we call them that time? Isolation
centers. Yeah, yeah.
No? So they gave Lut, and they can give usage too.
It can.
They gave a lot of our universities that time. They built off-grid power this thing for them.
Installations.
Instead of leaving people to be dying at Lut.
Okay.
Because the workers are even saying we will not come to work if you do not solve
all right,
electricity
gentlemen,
problem.
we must go. But if you're watching us, just know that our business here is essentially to mold opinion and allow decision makers to work with the opinion. All right, we must go, but not before thanking BKO for your time.
Thank you.
And Mayor Akingpelu, many thanks.
Thank you.
So we're done. That's it on the show for today. If you missed any part of it, not to worry. At 11 later tonight, we broadcast a repeat for you. But on Sunday, we expand the field for you from 1:30 to 3:30. And just to also add, we're on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Take care.